Hi, everybody. Tom Van Hoy with Pitt State Softball coach Elizabeth Economon on this edition of the PSU Softball Insider Show. Gorillas have played 8 games since last Friday, going 4-4, all at home. 6 MIAA games, 3-3. Lost 2 to Emporia State to begin things, 8-2 and 14-9-9. Split with Washburn, a 16-8 win, a 5-3 loss. Also split 2 non-conference games with Rogers State on Tuesday, a 9-1 win, a 4-3 loss, and took 2 from Missouri Southern on Wednesday, 10-9 and 11-7, big leads in both games, and held on. Pitt State now 21-21 of the year, 7-11 of the MIAA in 10th. 2 more doubleheaders at home this weekend. Schedule changed because of possible weather. Now a doubleheader on Friday with Nebraska Kearney, 4-6. That was scheduled Sunday. And then Saturday, noon and 2, with Fort Hays State. Kearney 7-13, the MIAA in 11th. Fort Hays in 5th right now with a record of 12-8. A lot to talk about this week with Pitt State softball coach Elizabeth Economon, and we start with the 2 wins over Missouri Southern on Wednesday.
Yeah, we had comfortable leads for a little while, so the ending scores are not exactly what we had hoped for, but we'll take them any way we can get them these days, so we're happy with the outcome.
Yeah, offensively, you feel pretty good about how your team played. 24 hits, hit 4 home runs in both those games combined.
Yeah, we really broke out, and I was really happy with the performance early in the games. We scored in the first, second, third innings, getting big leads, 6-0 in the first game. I think we were up 9-1 in the third inning of the second game. So jumping out and attacking their pitchers, making them make changes in their lineup, forcing pressure on them. So we were really happy with that. I obviously would like it to stay a little bit bigger distance between their runs, but we're very happy with our offensive production.
Yeah, you get up 6-0 in game 1 in the second inning, 9-2 in the fourth inning. What did you do that was good offensively early in the ball game?
You know, we just attacked good pitches early. We went up there with an attack mentality, and we knew that we had seen all 3 of their pitchers the last time we faced them, so we knew exactly what they had, and based on who they started and how we could, if we could just knock one out and get to the next one and knock the other one out and get to the next one, we could see all 3 in the first game, and then we knew exactly what we'd be facing in the second game. So we did a really good job of attacking good pitches and laying off pitchers' pitches. So we did a good job of forcing them to make pitches in hitters' counts, and we're happy, obviously, with the outcome there. We were swinging a good bat last night.
You had a lot of contributions up and down the lineup. 5 players in game 1 with at least 2 hits, 3 by Mackenzie Reinert, and you had 4 players with multiple 2 RBIs. So it looked like you got a lot of contributions from a number of different people in that game.
Yeah, it's always good when you can spread it out 1 through 9 and really get help from everywhere in the lineup, because we rely on 3, 4, 5 so much typically, and they've been coming through for us all season. So to get help in all places of the lineup certainly takes pressure off the middle of our order. So it's always fun to watch too. They were hitting the ball hard last night, so you felt good every time somebody new came up to the plate. We knew we had an opportunity to score.
I guess I should mention that only 4 of those Southern runs were earned, I guess. So defensively, like short up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, we need to clean it up a little bit. In the first game, I think we had 2 errors, and typically, and it's been like this all season, Tom, our errors come at the worst times. It always seems to work out that way. The game has a funny way of sticking it to you. So our pitchers really stayed the course, and it's tough after you should be out of an inning to keep going and face hitters that have seen you multiple times. So we need to clean it up a little bit. The second game got a little bit uglier, so hopefully we've learned what we need to do to clean that up and keep ourselves sharp, and certainly that'll take a little pressure off our offense.
Yeah, up 4-1 in the first in game 2, 8-1 in the second, and then all of a sudden Southern gets within a couple of runs of you and able to hold them off there as well. But is there a difference or a big difference in terms of some of the games and some of the conversations we've had? You got behind early and had to come back and maybe didn't get there and spent a lot of energy getting back, but is there a difference between playing from ahead and trying to come from behind?
Oh, I would much prefer to play ahead, and I think our pitchers would agree. It's much easier to pitch with a lead. There's not that pressure of we can't let anybody get on base. You know, it's more of we can make our pitches when we need to make them, and if we're up by 8 like we were in game 2 in the top of the 5th inning, we feel good about. We were really one out from run ruling Southern last night, so our pitchers are much more comfortable with a big lead. And then our offense is obviously seen what people ahead of them have done. They feel confident in their ability to hit the same pitchers. So, and it makes me and our assistants feel much better about sitting in the dugout knowing that we've got things under control. So when they started to creep back a little bit, and Southern's a good team, they're scrappy, they get pumped for this rivalry, and they bring their best game all the time. So we knew it wasn't over. I would like to have ended it a little bit sooner. But the pitchers, I think, enjoy the lead, and the hitters can get things on a roll.
Yeah, you were able to get that long ball, weren't you, in Game 2?
Yeah, it's something we were missing on Tuesday, so we got that back, which is a big part of our game. I wouldn't say we rely on it a lot, but we certainly enjoy it. And it's been very helpful for the middle of our order this year, producing lots of RBIs. So always fun to see that. The kids enjoy it, and it's, when you're hitting the ball hard, anything can happen.
So Kylie, and pronounce her last name for me?
Guthier.
Well, I was pretty close there. Just make sure I got it right. She had a couple of home runs, 45 RBI.
Yeah, she had a big day at the plate, which we know she's capable of, so it's nice to see her break out a little bit. She's been kind of back and forth all season, so she put lots of good swings on good pitches last night. So I think she's finally getting comfortable and finding her stride a little bit. So she hit the ball hard. It was a lot of fun to watch.
55 home runs this year, within 5 of tying the school record. Did you ever get the sense that maybe you're dependent on the home run, or is that just part of your offensive arsenal?
You know, I don't know that we're too dependent upon it. That's been a big part of our offense since our coaching staff got here, and we're certainly not preaching the home run. We have a nice 205 center field fence here at home, and typically a south wind. So if you hit a good line drive, it's got a chance to get out here at home. And a lot of our hitters are just flat out powerful. So I wouldn't say we rely on it all the time. Sometimes we certainly need it, but it's definitely built in as a part of our offense.
I mean, do you feel like, obviously you'd like to have good hitting, good pitching, get out of there with a 6-1 win or something like that, but do you feel, though, if you do struggle from a pitching standpoint, that you're good enough offensively you can get back in those games? Yeah,
I do. It's offensively, that's our strongest point, obviously. We do a good job of staying in the games there, and even we've had some games this season where we've been down big early in games, and we've been able to claw back. As long as we have enough time to do so, I feel confident. I know we got down this past weekend to Washburn pretty big early, which is not how you like to see the first 2 innings of a game go, but we were calm, and we knew that all we had to do was stick to our game plan and chip away. But we're very talented offensively, so I would never say any game is out of reach for us. But like you mentioned before, it's definitely better to play with the lead, so we don't like clawing back all the time. It puts a little more pressure on your hitters, and then they think they all have to get on base and stress a little bit and chase some pitches and get tight. So we'll take playing with the lead, but I have so much confidence in our offense that I don't think any game's ever out of reach.
Let's backtrack a little bit, because since you and I talked, played 8 games, kind of hard to remember, right? I got to write them down.
Yeah.
Hey, but against Emporia, obviously Emporia, number 7 of the country at that time, number 1 in the MIAA, you lost 8-2. But in that second game, it was a 14-9 game that went 9 innings. Did you feel you were pretty competitive? I know you played Emporia and beaten them earlier this year in St. Joe 3-2, but how did you feel about those 2 ball games?
I felt the first game it wasn't our best effort. They jumped out early on us. I think they were up 5-1 in the second inning or something, and then came back and put 3 up late in the game. So that one never really felt as close as it probably was. They have good pitching. They're number 5 now in the nation at this point. And they're there for a reason. They're competitive, and they do a good job defensively at the plate and on the mound. So the first game I wasn't impressed really with our at-bats and our effort there. We faced the same pitcher who we had beaten earlier this season in a tournament, so we knew how she was going to attack our hitters, and I don't think we made adjustments quickly enough within our at-bats. Now, Game 2 was a completely different story. It's almost as if that first game kind of woke us up a little bit, and we came out swinging the bat much better. We saw a different pitcher. They got up again with a lead, I think 3-0, and then we came back and scored 2, and then another one, and then another one. So we were relentless, and I think we scored in 5 different innings. Big RBIs late in the game by Mackenzie Reinard with 2 home runs, a 2-run shot and a 3-run shot to tie it and force extra innings and keep us going. And then they prevailed, obviously, with 5 runs in the top of the 9th. So it was really fun. I was really happy with the competition each of our kids showed. We never felt like we were out of it, and we just kept going. And we knew it was one of those times where we would give up runs, but we had confidence that we could score them back easily. We were all on the pitchers. They had to bring back their Game 1 starter to close that game out. So we never felt out of it. We competed every pitch, and it was obviously you would like the win, but I was really happy with our performance.
How difficult is it to play 8 games since last Friday as we do this conversation right now?
I think it's a blast, but I'm not as tired as the kids,
you're over there
I'm
in
sure.
the dugout, right?
Right. I think at this point in the season, that's what we're trying to do anyway. Our practices are, going over the basics, doing pretty much our pregame and covering the fundamentals that we need to do. So at this point in the year, we know what we need to do to win ball games and what we need to do to get to the postseason. So I think the girls probably enjoy it, that it's a little bit of a roll. There's not much thinking. We know we're going to go Tuesday we have 2, Wednesday we have 2, Friday we have 2, Saturday we have 2. Obviously we had an extra day built in of a break this week, and now the weather has forced us. So we'll have today practice, and then we'll get back to conference tomorrow, conference Saturday. But I think where we are right now, we just need to play and we need to swing and we need to pitch. So let's just get right to business.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, though. With so many games, if there isn't much time for practice, if you wanted that, right?
Right. It's and especially with the way our schedule has fallen, a lot of our practice days come on days that we have a lot of class conflicts. So because we didn't schedule games on some days here, Thursdays typically are a little more difficult for kids with labs and all the sciences and so on and so forth. So we'll have little bits that kids will come in for an hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll get in their work, and then they got to run back to night class. So that's what the fall's for in the winter, and so we work hard on everything, and we build everything we need to know all fall and all winter. And then once we start mid-February, it's really problem solving and quick fixes to try to get us to, what do we need to do to make this adjustment so we can be better for next time. But there's really no time to start over in the spring. So my assistants and I, we have a list of things we're going to attack in the fall for sure, things that we don't have time to fix right now. So it's a cycle. It's definitely a challenge because there's not time. There's not enough time to really get down and have a week-long practice and really get to work on those things. So it's quick and we like it that way, but we've got some things to work on for sure.
Hey, back to Missouri Southern for a moment. Did you know how to handle that situation with 74 degrees?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Did you know how to handle the situation with the temperature being above 30 degrees?
Oh, seriously, it was really nice, and it was almost surprising. It seems like every day we practice, it's beautiful, and every day we play, it's rainy and cold. So yesterday, it was gorgeous, 74 degrees, a nice south wind. It couldn't have been better, and of course, we love that for when Missouri Southern comes to town. But it's almost a shock at this point to have nice weather.
How important was that doubleheader with Southern A and to win at B? And is there, I don't know if sense of urgency is the right situation here, but with the doubleheaders coming up this weekend at the MIAA and where you are in the conference, that the Southern doubleheader I thought was a big one, and then this weekend becomes a big one for you as well. Yeah,
it seems like everything from here on out is going to be important, and I wouldn't say there's a sense of urgency. I don't feel like the girls are starting to panic or anything. I might panic at times because I know we're running out of days to get our job done. But really what we've been preaching to them is we're going to play each pitch. We're going to win as many of those pitches as we can. And if we take care of all the little things, the outcome will handle itself. So without putting pressure on them, we're breaking it down smaller so maybe they don't feel that. And I'm sure some of them are more aware of the standings than others. Some of them probably check statistics and some probably don't. So we're not going to force that stuff down their throat about we've got to do this and we've got to do this. We're just going to go stick to our game plan, play one pitch at a time. And if we do those little things, the end result will work in our favor. We're hopeful for that. So being at home here for even the next 8, we like our chances here. We're comfortable here. We're getting back into a rhythm. I think if we can get hot at the right time, that's the goal. In the previous seasons we've been here, we've had our hot streak a little bit too early. So now it might be a little bit too a little bit later than I would have liked. But if we can get on a roll at the right time, we might take some momentum into the tournament.
That's Pitt State softball coach Elizabeth Economon on this edition of the PSU Softball Insider Show. Gorillas continue the long homestand with 2 more weekend MIAA doubleheaders. Nebraska Kearney comes in on Friday, set to go at 4-6, move from Sunday, and then Saturday noon and 2 with Fort Hays State. Pitt State 7-13 the MIAA in 10th. Kearney comes in at 7-13 and 11th.